Action.
Hi, hello guys. My name is Jesus Cedeno, and I'm a recent EPCC graduate nursing student. I'm also a junior at UTEP, and I'm currently pursuing a double major, one in RN2BSN, and my second one will be in pre-med in a degree in cellular and molecular biochemistry.
What's your research topic about?
So what we're going to be discussing is going to be in regards to chemistry and aids, as in study aids. So I went ahead and actually did some research on what type of study aids are available out there for chemistry.
So why did you choose this topic?
So the reason why I decided to write about chemistry and study aids was because since I'm actually pursuing a pre-med degree, I need to be real fluent in chemistry. And as a matter of fact, I took Chemistry 1 about 3 to 4 years ago when I was taking my basics for nursing school. And I decided to take Chemistry 2 this semester, and I quickly realized that Chemistry 2 was really intense and that I did not recall a lot of the information. So what I decided to do research behind it to see what could actually help me, what tools were out there. And this is where we come into our research, where I actually went ahead and researched different tools out there that will be able to assist you to be successful in chemistry. Now, before we go into the whole topic and information, I'm going to go ahead and actually touch bases on 4 different topics itself. Those being, what does chemistry entail? And the second topic will be what type of aids or study guides are available out there. And the third topic will be which learning aids will best fit the learner depending on their learning style. So I'll go ahead and explain the learning style itself as well, and how readily available are these aids for that student or individual trying to master chemistry.
Where? That stethoscope is looking a little dusty.
Okay.
Jesus, where are you?
In my aesthetics room.
What are you doing?
Studying, trying to survive. Oh, and daydreaming that I'm a doctor.
So why is it so important for you to master chemistry?
So there's also another reason why I decided to do this research. It has to do with me trying to go to med school. And in order for me to go to med school, I need to be able to take the MCAT. And the MCAT is composed of 60% of chemistry. And since I took Chemistry 1 about 3 to 4 years ago, I am lacking that knowledge in order for me to master Chemistry 2, organic chemistry, and biochemistry. So I need to be able to prepare myself, and these study aids and tools will be able to guide me towards success in chemistry.
Gotcha. So when was the last time you took chemistry?
I took chemistry about 3 or 4 years ago. I was doing my basics for nursing school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was about 3 or 4 years ago.
And when did you realize that you needed a serious brushing up on the knowledge?
So this semester I decided to take Chemistry 2. I remember going
That's part of your...
That's part of my what?
Degree plan?
Yeah, because I want to go to med school. So in order for me to be successful and to enter in med school, I need to take that MCAT, which is composed of that 60%. So I do remember my first day in class, and I realized that a lot of the information I didn't understand. I could understand the information being presented, but a lot of the previous information I couldn't recall. That being nomenclature, which is actually covered in Chemistry 1. But that was my first time, my first day that I realized that I needed to brush up on chemistry. So this is the reason why I decided to do those research in regards to what study aids are available in chemistry itself.
You're feeling lost.
I'm so lost.
Ask Siri.
I hate iPhones.
Just try it.
What's chemistry?
Okay, check it out.
Okay, let me ask you exactly what is the study of chemistry?
So the study of chemistry entails a lot of different branches and it has a huge history. But basically, the study of chemistry is a study of matter and its composition. So maybe you have seen the iconic symbol for chemistry, which is a periodic. So on the periodic table, basically shows all the elements. It actually will tell you how many electrons, protons, and neutrons there is based on their molecular weight. So the study of chemistry entails that the study of matter and its compositions. So we go ahead and actually see how each element interacts with each other itself. Now, going into more history in regards to chemistry, we will go ahead and first start with Aristotle.
Okay, so who exactly is Aristotle?
So Aristotle was a Greek philosopher, and those are the beginnings of chemistry itself. Aristotle, when he was young, he used to go to a Greek academy, and while studying there, he used to believe or theorize that the elements were all composed of wind, air, water, and fire itself. However, these were the beginnings of chemistry because that's what built upon alchemy itself.
So, how long did Aristotle live?
So Aristotle lived between 384 BC through 322 BC.
And what was his philosophy?
So his philosophy in regards to chemistry was that all matter was composed of four elements, which was air, wind, water, and fire itself. And people believed this for over 800 years until the Dark Ages came through. Now around the Dark Ages, which was around 500 AD and 600 AD, people were going through struggling times where critical thinking wasn't actually promoted as much as before through Aristotle. So a lot of the chemistry knowledge did diminish until the end of the Dark Ages, which was 600 AD. That's when early chemistry came into place, or what we know as alchemy itself. So now in regards to alchemy, so we went from Aristotle to the Dark Ages to alchemy or early chemistry itself. So let me recap. In regards to alchemy, this came into belief due to Aristotle's philosophy of the four elements, which was air, wind, water, and fire. And during the Dark Ages, the formation of metals itself. So during alchemy, there was two types of individuals called the adepts and the puffers, and basically their similarity goal was to try to expand early chemistry or alchemy through spiritual enlightenment, since religion was really involved back then.
What would the adepts and the puffers do?
So the adepts' purpose was basically to try to produce gold out of metals with the assistance with spiritual perfection. And the puffers itself, their job was basically to create magical acts using chemicals and mixing chemicals. And this technique was known as transmutation because they will mix chemicals and heat itself to create a chemical or magical act. Now, from alchemy, we go into Antoine Laurent de Lavoisier, and he is known as the founding father of modern chemistry itself. He lived between 1743 and 1794. Now, the reason why he is known as the founding father itself, because he proved that oxygen was a combustion. So in regards to Antoine Laurent de Lavoisier, in regards to why he was the founding father of chemistry, was due to his experiments performed. So going back about the oxygen combustion, that was his first experiment that he composed, and he found out through chemical reactions that oxygen was combustible. He also found that water was made out of hydrogen and oxygen itself, but his much more foreseen work was him putting the periodic table in order itself and seeing how each element interacted with each other. For us, as modern chemistry, known as a periodic table itself.
So, we should hit a Barnes & Noble, yes?
Yes, so I could go ahead and show you what different types of aids are available.
Let's go. Hurry up.
Okay.
So, what time does Barnes & Noble close?
I think they close at 11, don't they?
It's Saturday, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. You better not get there too late.
Oh, we won't get there late.
So let me ask you, what are the different types of study aids that you researched on or that we can probably use?
So the different types of study aids that I went ahead and actually researched were actually exactly 5. The first one would be, it's called a Quick Study Guide, and they're under the Quick Study Academic Guides. The second one will be a podcast. The third one will be an educational video. The fourth one is actually ad hoc textbooks towards a class. That's why we're going to Barnes & Noble, so I could go ahead and show you the different ones that I actually went ahead and took. And the fifth one will be my workshop for chemistry itself.
Cool.
Okay.
We'll see what we find. I'm feeling tired.
You're feeling tired?
Let's do a Starbucks run.
Yes.
We need caffeine. Yay, Starbucks. Get coffee?
No, I got a nice tea.
Do we walk or do we drive? Drive. We're here. Let's go. Nice. Haven't been here yet, have you?
No, I haven't.
¿Qué pasó?
Oh.
Don't get run over, right?
Fix it.
Oh, books. It's time for shopping. Let's go.
Okay. Oh yes, I need to show you the books.
Yes. What area do you think it'll be in?
In the chemistry area?
Oh.
I think they have a chemistry area. Oh, we're gonna go look for the section where the chemistry books are at. So we could go ahead and pull some, and I could go ahead and explain to you which ones are available.
Okay. Now to find it.
Okay.
The heck? Where is it? Familiar section. Nursing, chemistry, and biology.
So let me go ahead and pull some books out, so I could go ahead and explain to you which ones are available, and this will go ahead and fulfill the subject of ad hoc textbooks.
Cool. Oh yeah.
So these are the books that they have under this section. This is in biochemistry, however there is one in chemistry, but this is a good title, Demystified, because it's basically a huge summary of chemistry itself. They also have Chemistry for Dummies. This is a really good summary itself. It's basically summarizes every single title or every single subject into smaller pieces, so you could have an overall understanding of it. They also have a chemistry workbook, so you could go ahead and actually apply the knowledge that you're reading. And I also saw Completes Idiot's Guide towards Organic Chemistry. However, they
Love
also
it.
have one for chemistry. They have basically from Chemistry 1, Chemistry 2, Organic Chemistry, all the way to Biochemistry, as you saw. And this is my favorite, the Elements book, which I have this one at home, checked out from the library. But this is really vivid. It shows a lot of pictures itself. So the pictures itself will help you remember which elements you might need. Like for example, I had a lab recently this Friday, and I had to know which cations and anions mixed together. So I went ahead and actually studied every single cation and anion that were part of the lab itself, and I got 100, thank God.
Nice.
So I also wanted to touch base on this one, Chemistry for the Utterly Confused. There's actually a picture of me inside. Just kidding. But this is also a brief summary of chemistry itself, and these are all ad hoc workbooks that you could go ahead and add towards your studying, where you should be reading your actual textbook from the class itself. You could be reading this on the side, or before you take a chemistry class, or after you take a chemistry class.
Perfect. Found them all.
So these are some samples of the ad hoc books, as you can see.
Cool.
Chemistry for Dummies, Biochemistry Demystified, and The Complete Idiot's Guide towards Chemistry, or in this case, Organic Chemistry.
Okay. Let's go.
Okay.
Okay, so we totally just got kicked out of Barnes & Noble. Apparently they close at 10.
Because we were recording somebody. Just kidding.
So what's the next type of aid that we can use in case we don't have access to a bookstore or library?
Well, obviously the ad hoc books, you could obviously get them at Barnes & Nobles or at any library. You could actually rent them. But another type of aid will be podcasts itself. And the one that I actually went ahead and researched, in particular to this research, was through the Royal Society of Chemistry. Royal Society of Chemistry is RSC. And you could just go ahead and Google Royal Society of Chemistry podcasts. They basically have a bunch of different podcasts on there. They do divide them into the periodic table or per element itself or per subject itself. But that is a very, very, very good website to go ahead and get podcasts from.
Cool. All right, we're back at your place.
We're back to my home. So we're going to continue on the types of aids that are available. We already discussed about the podcast, and we went to Barnes & Nobles to go ahead and discuss about the ad hoc textbooks that we could go ahead and utilize. So what I'm going to go over now is going to be a quick study guide, and I'm going to go ahead and show you those. So a quick study guide, you could actually find them in bookstores, or you could also go ahead and find them online at their website. But these are the two quick study guides. They're called Quick Study Academic Guides that I actually went ahead and bought for my chemistry classes. One of them deals with chemistry itself. The one that I utilize the most is this one, because this one deals with theory itself, versus this dealing with equations and answers. This one will be more formulas, more numbers itself. As you can tell, they're really vivid and colorful. They have bold, colorful letters for every different type of subject.
Mm-hmm.
And mainly, this is not going to go ahead and teach you chemistry. Remember that these are only study aid tools to aid you in your class, but they will go ahead and refresh you on certain subjects itself.
Cool. Which one do you think was more useful for where you at the level of for chemistry 2?
For between this one and this one?
Yeah.
Well, it has to do with this one titled chemistry. It deals more with theory subjects, versus this one, equations and answers, deals more with numbers, like math. So it deals more with formulas and converting stuff. So I technically use both of them equally. So for example, if I have to go ahead and go back and refresh myself on a certain theory aspect, I go ahead and reference the chemistry, this one. If I have to go ahead and actually know how to convert molarities or do some type of mathematical problem, I will reference this one.
So you would say they're equally useful?
Yeah, so that's why I bought both of them. That's why I own both of them. So yeah, they're equally useful.
Okay.
Okay, so another type of aids that are available would be educational videos. So the one that I went ahead and actually looked up was through YouTube, a YouTube video. There's many videos out there that people actually create to go ahead and actually refresh you on certain subjects. The one that I went ahead and looked was through YouTube. It's called Crash Course Chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
So let me go ahead and pull one up so you could go ahead and have some idea of which one it is. The way that this is actually broken down, it's broken down per subject, to the least complex subject to the most complex itself. Chemistry, I believe, has about 30 different videos. They're really fast paced, but remember that you're supposed to be reading your own theory book, and these are only tools or study aids to go ahead and help you enhance that knowledge. So if you read your theory book, you'll be able to go ahead and follow up or refresh with this educational video itself.
So is that the Crash Course website?
Yes, so this is the Crash Course websites through YouTube. They don't only actually give you crash courses on chemistry, they actually give you crash courses on every single type of subject. But what you could do, you could go ahead and put Crash Course Chemistry, and you see they'll give you 1, 2, 3. So Crash Course Chemistry 1 deals with the nucleus, and they're usually about 10 minutes long, but they're full of information itself. So these are good videos for that visual learner to go ahead and actually re-enhance that information. So now we'll go ahead and go to the last, we'll go to the last type of aid that is available, and that will be workshops. So in UTEP, the way that they break down the classes is that you take a theory portion and you take a workshop with that theory, and separately you take a lab. So in essence, it's about 3 different classes. So the workshop is supposed to go ahead and develop that kinesthetic ability for you to learn by applying the theory knowledge, by utilizing math equations or utilizing that knowledge to go ahead and decipher problems itself. So workshop helps you by enhancing that knowledge, by reinstating that knowledge.
How often are they available, and how often do you have to attend during a semester?
Well, the workshop you attend once per week. So you go ahead and actually go to your theory course, which is about twice per week. In some cases, it's 3 times a week. But everything that you learn for that week, you go ahead and apply it in workshop. So that's another type of study or study tool available for you to be successful in chemistry itself. So let me just go ahead and do a quick run through on the studies that are available before I go ahead and jump on the type of learning styles and which type of aid is preferred based on your learning style itself. So let me just go ahead and recap on the types of aids that are available. So I went ahead and actually researched upon 5 of them. And the 5 that I went ahead and researched was a quick study academic guide. Let me go ahead and show you. So the quick study academic guide are these ones. Remember that you could get these basically at any, well, not at any bookstore, but on the campus of your university or college you could get them. Or you could get them at their website. And their website is quickstudyacademicguide.com.
Cool.
Now, in regards to the podcast, remember the one that I went ahead and researched was through the Royal Society of Chemistry. It's a really good, reputable website. Their website is www.rsc.org, and they have a lot of different podcasts, but they go ahead and separate them by subject. So they go ahead and have a monthly podcast, which is modern podcasts on what they have found in chemistry. They also break it down by the elements, so they give you specific subjects on each element itself or on compounds. And the compounds is more on molecules and structures and their reactions and their products itself. We also have educational videos. So the educational videos, the one that I went ahead and actually researched was the one through YouTube, through Crash Course Chemistry. Under Crash Course, they do go ahead and give you different crash courses for different types of subjects, but the one that I went ahead and reviewed was Crash Course Chemistry. So you could go ahead and actually research it and by typing Crash Course Chemistry, and it has about 30 different videos, each with different subjects, but plentiful of information to go ahead and aid you and help you in your chemistry class itself. The fourth aid available was an ad hoc textbook. This is actually an example, and this one I rented it from the library. It's an amazing textbook. You have really colorful textbooks like this one, or you have Chemistry for Dummies. You also have a complete Idiot's Guide for in chemistry, and there was another book called Demystified, but you want to go ahead and get it in the subject of chemistry. There's different types of subjects. And lastly, the fifth aid available will be a workshop, and that workshop will be a class separate to the theory portion, so you could go ahead and actually apply what you've been learning in theory. So you will meet once a week, and it's just going to go ahead and enhance the information that you've been learning throughout the week itself. Now, we're going to go ahead and actually discuss the different types of learning styles and which learning aid will best fit each learning style itself. So before I go ahead and actually start talking about which learning aids best fits each learning style, let me go ahead and give you a quick rundown of the learning styles itself. So the learning styles that I went ahead and actually researched, there are 5 of them that I went ahead and looked up. And it's a visual learner, an auditory learner, a sequential learner, a global learner, and a kinesthetic learner. So in regards to the visual learner, obviously the visual learner is going to learn by viewing something, utilizing their eyes. An auditory learner learns more by speech or by listening to somebody, like a recording.
Podcast?
Yeah, like a podcast. Sequential learner, the person learns by seeing information in order. A great example will be like the quick study guide. It's actually broken down from least complex to more complex. So they need to see some type of order so they could understand what the next subject is about. The fourth learning style will be a global learner. That individual learns more by seeing different images and seeing how each image relates to each other by collecting it as a whole picture itself. Kinesthetic learner obviously learns by movement, utilizing their hands or utilizing an applied science to a concept. A great example will be doing math problems, taking notes. So those will be the different types of learning styles, and there are 5. So now I'm going to go ahead and tie them in with each learning aid to see which one fits the learning style.
Okay, so which aid best fits the style of learning?
So let me go ahead and break them down. So I'm going to go ahead and break it down towards which learning aid best fits each learning style. So let me go ahead and go with a quick study academic guide. So the learning style that it fits for that one, for the quick study academic guide, which is these ones, will be obviously a visual learner because of the colorful aspects towards it and how it's actually set up with images. Also sequential learning because it's actually in order from least complex subject to a more complex subject, sort of where you get to the back. So the least complex subject will be the periodic table, and then nuclear physicist theories on the back. So it fits 2 of them, visual learning styles and sequential learning style for the quick study academic guide. Now for the podcast through the Royal Society of Chemistry, obviously that will fit an auditory learning style because you're listening to it. The educational videos, that being the YouTube video, which is a Crash Course Chemistry, fits 4 different learning styles, which is the visual learning styles because you watch it, the auditory because you listen to it, the sequential learning style because it's broken down into least complex information to more complex info, and global learning style because every single time they actually input a new theory or subject, they go ahead and actually break it down into images to go ahead and fit the whole image itself or the whole concept. And for the ad hoc textbooks, which it encompasses the Chemistry for Dummies, Complete Idiot's Guides for Chemistry, and Chemistry Demystified, there's 3 different learning styles, which is the visual learner, due to how when you read it, you're watching it, and sequential learning due to how it's broken down from least complex information to more complex, and global learning because of the images that are presented and the way that the subject is presented at the end. It encompasses the whole picture itself. For the workshop, it actually encompasses all the learning styles because you're actually watching a lecture. The auditory learning style because you're actually listening to the lecture. The sequential learning style because they always teach the theory from least complex to more complex. Global learning styles because at the end of the workshop, they're going to go ahead and tie everything together, part of what you've been learning throughout the week. And the kinesthetic learning style because everything is applied. You have to go ahead and work it out. You work out the equations. Sometimes you have to go up in the board and work problems itself. Now, the last subject that we're going to go ahead and touch based off is going to be about how readily available these type of different aids are available and where you could actually go ahead and find them.
What are you doing?
Just picking up.
So, what's the availability and the readiness of those study aids?
So, they're pretty available. So the availability on the quick study guide, you could actually buy them at the bookstore, or you could go ahead and go to the website and actually order them. For the podcast, there's different types of podcasts, but the one that we went ahead and watched was through the Royal Society of Chemistry. You could just go to their website or Google Royal Society of Chemistry podcast. For the educational video, you could just go ahead and go to YouTube, put in Crash Course Chemistry, and all the videos will go ahead and come up from 1 to 30. Remember that there's also different educational videos out there, not just necessarily through YouTube. And the ad hoc textbooks, I personally rent them out. I do own some of them. I buy them from Barnes & Nobles, or you could go ahead and rent them through the library itself, any public library or your university library. The workshop, it's available through the theory class when you go ahead and register to your course, but I'm pretty sure there might be any type of workshops or lectures or tutorings to go ahead and complement your theory class itself. So those are how readily available the study aids are available for students.
So, what would you say would be the conclusion to all this research?
So it all depends on the individual or student on what type of learning style, which learning style fits best their needs. So how they learn better. So they could go ahead and tie it into what study aid is available out there. So what I conclude is basically what I've learned the most out of is basically using my theory textbook, which is the textbook that is actually recommended for the class. I personally have learned through always sitting in lecture and listening to the lecture and just paying close attention to it. I hardly ever take notes, but that's me personally. However, in order for me to be able to get by that is by me actually studying the material beforehand and actually sitting there and learning, listening, and then taking notes afterwards of what I've actually learned. So the best ad hoc tool or best studying aid that I've actually taken advantage of was the videos itself, the educational videos, the Crash Course Chemistry. Because when I go ahead and actually go each week, we go ahead and actually touch bases on different subjects. I go ahead and come back, review those videos to go ahead and actually enhance my knowledge based on that subject that we touch based on. So it will all depend on the student itself, which type of learning style will best fit him or her.
Sounds good. What are you holding?
My tapes.
So I think we're done.
That's it. Yes, we are done. And that does conclude my documentary. Thanks for watching, guys. And just stay tuned for more. Just kidding. Bye.
That director's chair is very appropriate for this documentary.
The end. Yay!